Hello, glorious souls. Welcome to your Soul Service Astrology update for the 6th of February. I'm Kel, and the astrology you'll find here on this glorious channel is 13 sign sidereal astrology. It matches what you can observe in the sky. So it loosely matches astronomy, not exactly matches astronomy, but the idea is that we're looking at the sky to see where the planets are in relation to the other planets, but also to see what the backdrop of the behind the planet is in relation to the zodiac, where the planets revolve around the sun. That's really important. We need to be looking at our sky. We need to be looking at our environment to come back into a connection with it, to have a relation with it, because it's very much a part of us. This environment birthed us. The sky birthed us too. Before we were humans, before we were Earth, we were stardust. So I really think it's important that we should be looking at the sky, which is why I'm so passionate about sidereal astrology. The astrology you'll also hear on this channel is not to take your power away. I want you to use anything that you hear here as an opportunity to explore your experience, an opportunity to explore what's going on for you. Perhaps you want to make changes in your life. If we want to make a change, we have to do something different. And interestingly, as we move into the week of the 6th of February, change is high on the agenda at the moment. Venus is still in Aquarius, so we have that energy there. Saturn has just moved into Aquarius. Change is really supported at the moment, and it might be a change back towards self-love. So the theme as we move into this week really is, it's a very soft warrior. Now there's conflict there, isn't there? So what I said is it's the week of the softening warrior. That's what I said. It's back to this deep self-acceptance and oneness, this connectedness of all. And that's what I described at the beginning with our connectedness to sky, our connectedness to earth, and our connectedness to each other. There have been studies in orphanages, children that have no connection to parents or loved ones, and they do not flourish. So our connection to others is really important. Our connection to the earth is really important. And our connection to the sense of consciousness and spirit that extends beyond the known is also really important. You're going to get opportunities to do that all this week. Now, this week, I'm going to talk to the chart because there's actually a lot going on. So I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you the aspects that are going to be happening this week. And that means that I won't forget any of them because there's quite a few. So we begin the week with a full moon in Leo. So it happens, there we go, full moon in Leo. I'm like, hang on a minute. No, that's the sun, full moon in Leo. We begin the week on Monday, the 6th of Feb, with a full moon in Leo. So full moons are typically great times, opportunities for you to inquire into how you're feeling and what needs to release. What do you need to let go of? And in particular, when it's in Leo, what do we need to let go of to step more into our authentic selves, to step more into an authentic expression of our emotional intelligence? So the moon is our emotional intelligence. The moon is our feelings. If you have big feelings and you haven't been able to express them, that can really limit you and hold you back. So I would really encourage you on this full moon to inquire what needs to release and let go so I can express my emotions, my feelings in a much more authentic way, the way I want to express them. Everyone's going to be different. So that strengthens our emotional intelligence. And if you think back to what I said in relation to the theme this week, we want warriors in the world now that have a really robust emotional intelligence. I think Jacinda Ardern, the former New Zealand Prime Minister, is a great example of the kind of warriors that we're after these days. And there hasn't been great examples of those for us in the world, males and females alike, right? So that's Monday. Now, a great thing to do on the full moon is One, inquire into your releasing. And then there is a practice called heart coherence or heart congruence, where you allow your awareness to drop into your heart. And then you use a former memory or experience to amplify gratitude and appreciation. I would really love it if we would start to reflect that gratitude and appreciation back to ourselves first, that inner dialogue with ourselves first. If you're all over that and you feel really rock solid in that, then it's gratitude and appreciation that washes through your body and starts to expand outwards, that it goes outwards to support the greater whole, for the greater good. It's not just for us anymore, right? So that's Monday. And then Tuesday, we have Mars square Venus. Mars in Taurus is really consistent, consolidated focus. Okay, I'm going to take these consistent actions to make sure my needs and my wants are met. I can start taking focused, vital energy towards being the architect of my life. With a square to Venus, Venus being our body, our connective ability, and our regenerative ability, there's this focus on how can I change to be more divinely in love with myself? What changes do I need to make so that I can be the divine justice first within myself, right? So there might feel like there's a bit of contention here because Mars just wants to get going and get things done in a really consistent, focused way. But our body is just saying, look, I think there might be an inquiry here. There might be something that we can feel into here so that we can come more in alignment with that radical, rebellious self-acceptance, because that is going to support this. So when it's a square energy, what fear is holding you back from falling madly and deeply in love with yourself? Answer that question. So that's Tuesday. And then if we look at Wednesday, we have this, I'm going to call it a snappy little T-square because it will only last for Wednesday. So it's not a significant T-square that it's going to last for several days or even a week. This one's only going to last today, but the apex is at Mars. So Mars is our warrior energy. The warrior wants to be quite consistent and consolidated and focused, grounded and earthed. It doesn't want to behave the way that we have seen the archetype of the warrior in our culture and Western culture and society at the moment. You know, that it has to be the hero that rides in and he has to be violent and aggressive and egotistical and he gets all the glory. No. We don't want those warriors anymore. So there is this strength building exercise that we are going through, and this idea of what the warrior is now is a bodily, connected, self-connected, self-accepting, desiring change in self and others, to be there for others, to support others' changes while being focused and considered. There's this softening and then this emotionally intelligent warrior. So this is to build strength in us. So you might actually, what might come up? Notice what comes up for you on Wednesday. Now, this might be a person. A person might come at you and it might be, and let me tell you, if you're a female in our society or if you're in a minority group, I can guarantee you will have come up against shadow warrior archetypes within other people. And they're trying to project that onto you, but really it's their problem. So notice what sort of happens on Wednesday. And, oh, is that a reflection of shadow warrior? And how can I soften to counterpose and not let them take away my power, make me feel bad? How can I strengthen myself as this illuminated, full of love, unconditional love warrior? So what did I say? Can we embrace a heartfelt, full of love, emotionally connected warrior? This is the radical we need in our society today. And, you know, this is the energy we want our leaders to have. Saturn has moved into Aquarius for the next 2 years. It's really crunch time in relation to what the hell is happening with our environment and our leaders making some really radical changes and to the systems that need to change really quickly. Like if you think about Aquarius, it's rapid, right? We can make these changes rapidly. We did it in the pandemic. It's almost like the universe was showing us, you can make these changes rapidly. You did it for the greater good of the whole. But we can't do it for the environment. We can't make changes to the economy that is favoring a hoarding of wealth. The ecology doesn't hoard wealth. You don't see a tree in the bush sucking all the nutrients from all the other trees around it. We wouldn't have got very far if that's the way this planet evolved. And we have disconnected ourselves from that nature principle. Nature knows best. Like that principle is nature knows best. And that's what we need our leaders to do today. And that's radical. But if we all start moving towards there ourselves, then we push those limited number of people to make changes. And it's coming. I really do think it's coming. So that's Wednesday. There is a lot happening. Thursday, we have Mercury and Pluto conjunct each other. So again, this won't last long. It'll only last a couple of days. But it's a great way. We've had Pluto in Sagittarius for so long. And it really, like, even though on my chart here, it's showing that it's still in Sagittarius, Pluto really is in no man's land or no person's land between Sagittarius and Capricorn. It really is between the two. It's sitting midway point between the stars, between Sagittarius and Capricorn. So, and it's going to sit there for quite some time. So it's kind of like this gray area where we have this destructive liberator, but then also we have the destructive leader. So what we could be seeing in the collective is that we can start to see maybe the rising up of the destructive liberator, because we kind of do need to see that. And it might be starting to turn its attention towards the systems and the methods that aren't working. So there might be this gentle shift, and aligned with Saturn in Aquarius. Let's hope, right? This would be the illuminated aspect of these. Sometimes my hope wanes. I'm not going to lie to you as an environmental scientist, but I've been an environmental scientist for 24 years this year. Look, sometimes my hope wanes. We do have the answers. I know that. We have really smart people, and I know we can make the changes. So it's like, that's my hope, that we actually have everything we need to make the changes that we can do. We just actually need to do them. And that is it, right? So we need leaders that are ready to liberate us to that next level, to be radical, to make the changes that we need to do now. I still think we're going to experience ego death in that process. And that's that Pluto moving into Capricorn that's going to happen over the next 2 years. It's a slow process. And it's a slow process for a reason. We're on a journey to remove these beliefs that we can't change, to remove these beliefs that we can't liberate ourselves from the systems that have become so entrenched, but are not beneficial. So with Mercury meeting Pluto here, it's really, this is for you. This is a personal transit that you can use to liberate yourself closer into a more mindful observation of your thoughts. So what am I really thinking? And is that serving me best? Pluto might come in and just completely renounce or annihilate a thought that you have. So it's a really great way to work towards mindfulness and consciousness together as we step into this transition period. I think this week, the 9th of February is, the 6th of February is, it's big. Like, it's big. And I've still got more, which is why I'm having to talk to the chart, or otherwise I would be not capturing it all. So you still have that conjunction between Pluto, Thursday, Friday. It continues for the rest of the week. So what do we want to move? We want to move to the 12th, which is the Sunday. So there's a couple of changes here. So let me talk about the changes to some of the personal planets. The first one is Mercury steps into Capricorn. This is our mind turning towards really consolidating towards our goals. Now, that might sound really quite mundane and practical, but if we are to transcend and change and come into a much return to a much more connected planet, save ourselves essentially, we need to work. We need to be disciplined. We need to take steps. Mercury is logical planning towards the goals that we want to fulfill, our consolidated visions, right? So I talk about this a lot, and I'm going to be talking about it more because I've made a planner. I love planning. I have made planning mistakes in my day job, my professional job. I have to plan. And let me tell you, I've done enough projects that have gone really, really badly, and it's because they did not have a plan, or there was a plan and people didn't stick to the plan. Lots of money can be lost, time can be wasted, and resources can be wasted. If you have a plan, it doesn't need to, you don't need to schedule yourself to the nth degree. Your goals don't need to be written out and followed precisely, because you still need spaciousness. You still need openness in any plan to allow the magic to come in. But let me tell you, if you don't take any action, if you don't have a plan, your goal won't happen because you're not consolidating your focus and your energy towards it. So that's in relation to planning, and that's Mercury enters there. So you can go and support my Kickstarter and buy the Soul Service Astrology 2023 planner. And I'm going to be talking about that a lot this year and how it can help you plan, and help you plan in a much more ecological way, because it's mapped to the solar seasons, it's mapped to the moon phases, and then you can look at the celestial aspect and connect in with more different energy to make changes that you want to change. And you get to feel into how you like to work. That's the whole point. That's what I've done over the last 2 years. It's like, you know what? I went into working for myself full time. It didn't work out. What the hell? Why didn't it work out? I didn't have a plan. And 2, I wasn't working the way I wanted to work. So now I felt into how I want to work, how I want my business to be structured, and I rebuild from there. And small steps count. Here's an example. This is my 7th year working in a business, and it's now starting to pay off. And that's not just necessarily money, by the way, when I talk about pay off, what I see success as. That my message is actually moving out further towards people, and people are receiving it that I don't know. So that's the next level, right? So if you are working towards something, I would encourage you to have a plan, have the spaciousness so that the magic can come in, and take the steps towards the vision that you want to realize. Venus moves into Pisces now. So Venus is our connective ability. It's our regenerative ability. And when Venus, the divine justice, the self-love, moves into Pisces, it's about transcendence. We want to transcend our body as a vessel of the divine. And you're like, Kel, what the hell is that? You get to use your nervous system and your body as a receptor to receive information. So we get to do this every year. Pisces is like the second biggest constellation along the ecliptic. There's a reason for that. We need to spend some time here privileging our subtle anatomy. And this is receiving information through our feelings and our emotions, monitoring our nervous system to see if it's dysregulated or if it needs to have some improvements. Really strong leaders are going to be connected to their mystical intelligence. What is mystical intelligence? It means that you're using both the gross intelligences, the 5 senses and your mind, as well as the subtle senses. And that is the feeling states in your body, knowing and how your nervous system is functioning, relating to the environment, and being your intuition, and knowing that all that information is valid. You watch Indigenous custodians and Indigenous elders when they operate, particularly in my country, Australia. That is how they operate. They operate from that place, always, and in connection to what they can see, always. There is no information shared unless they are in the environment and seeing it and being with it. And it is all coming through those subtle senses. So this is a real opportunity for us to go in deeper. Now, what is interesting, on Sunday is that we now have a stellium in Pisces. So that's why this week is about this softening warrior, this really heartfelt warrior that is going to lead. We must come back into this idea that we are mystics in the world, that we are connected to spirit. Spirit is not some woo-woo thing. It is real. It is consciousness. If you want to call it consciousness, call it consciousness. It is a web of energy that it connects us to everything, and you get to feel it through your body and your nervous system and use it, right? So all these planets, all this energy in Pisces, we're moving into this season where you get to work that muscle. You get to connect in more deeply with your mystical intelligences. And I would hazard a guess is that in our society, with this more illuminated warrior coming into light, coming into leadership positions, they privilege the subtle senses. And we kind of have to privilege the subtle senses because we've gone so far one way. We've gone so far one way with the logic and analytical intelligences that to really start to come back into connection with our subtle senses, our intuition, our environment, we need to privilege it. It's like we need to privilege uplifting the minority groups that have been downtrodden for so long, right? So, wow, I'm going to end my weekly download there. It is a big week. Look after yourself because it starts with a full moon. So look after yourself. Make sure that you're supported. Call in the support that you need. And that's something that I want to reiterate to everyone that listens to this. One, it is okay to go and ask for help. It is okay to need to seek support. Everybody wants to be heard and held. And that is something very human, is part of our humanity. And so if you need that support, go and seek it out and use your subtle senses as to where you can find that support. So as I mentioned throughout this celestial update, of course, my planner is still up for sale through Kickstarter. It's got another 2 weeks. Please go and support it so that it gets funded. The planners are on the way to me. I can see the ship sailing to me through Asia to come and dock in Sydney. And then they'll be sent to me and then I can send them out to everyone. So you'll definitely have the planners before they start. They start on the 20th of March, 21st of March, which is the autumn equinox. And that's when I think 2023 starts. So please go and support my planner. You are going to love it. You are going to love it. I love it. And I'm already making plans for the 2024 planner. It's going to be different. It's going to be great as well. So I need your support for this year's planner so that I can keep the planner going into 2024 and 2025 and beyond, right? So it's startup mode, right? I'm really trying to start it up. So any support that you can give, $1, like you can give $1, you can give $10 and I'll send you stuff, right? Go and support the Kickstarter. I would be truly appreciated. Now, if you can't support it in a financial way, could you please share it with someone who could share it with someone else? And it just gets out there. My message gets out there further. So thanks very much for listening. I hope you have a glorious week. Let me know what comes up for you in the comments if you like. I have a community section on my YouTube as well. And so you can also post there anything that's coming up for you throughout this week. Have a glorious week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.